Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kasturi and I do a lot of videos on reading vlogs, wrap-ups and recommendations. Today's video is another reading vlog, but this is something different and something special. Because in this reading vlog, I am going to be reading 6 stories that is actually a part of Creature Feature collection by Amazon Original Stories. So Amazon keep doing this where they come out with this collection. So they have on horror, they have on science fiction, they have like of many different genres. But I have chosen Creature Feature, and very weirdly, I actually am not a big fan of Creature Feature collection stories, anything. I find the stories that have like a creature in them, I just sort of immediately like lose interest or I'm not scared anymore. But I have been hearing a lot of hype about this collection, so I wanted to read for myself and see if I enjoy them or not. And they're actually by very famous and really popular horror authors, so I'm actually very excited to read this collection. So this collection actually have 6 stories in them. So we have Best of Luck by Jason Mott. We have Ankle Snatcher by Grady Hendrix. In Bloom by Paul Tremblay. It Waits in the Wood by Josh Malerman. Big Bad by Chandler Baker and The Pram by Joe Hill. Out of the 6 authors, I've actually read a work of 4 authors. Jason Mott and Chandler Baker, I've never read anything from them, so I'm actually excited to see if their writing and their stories are something that I vibe with. Maybe I'll pick their other work up in future. So why don't you go get some popcorn or again whatever you like to eat, because this is going to be slightly longer than the usual vlogs that I make. Hi, so it's later in the day. I have had my breakfast and I have finished 2 of the stories. So what I am doing is that I'm reading the stories that are short and then making my way up to the stories that are slightly longer. So I finished Best of Luck by Jason Mott and Ankle Snatcher by Grady Hendrix. These were the shortest of the lot. So I wanted to read them first, and let me give you my review on it. At the end, I'll let you know my rating and I'll do a ranking of like my least favorite to my favorite in the collection, and then an overall rating for the entire collection. So in the opening scene of Best of Luck, we see that there is this guy who has a gun with him and he is holding this other guy at a gunpoint. So basically they are friends and this guy who's being held does not know why is his friend, pointing a gun at him. What is this all about? So because these stories are really short, I don't want to give you too much summary. So I'm just going to give you this very, very brief summary. And I'm going to leave it at that because this is extremely short and you need to see the escalation that happens. Now, I've never read anything by Jason Mott before, and I thought the story was actually pretty interesting. I like the concept, and I knew before getting into the story what the concept or what the theme of the story is, and I don't want to spoil if you don't know. I think it's better if you just find it out because it's really, really short. I thought the tension between these two people, was something that I could feel, and I liked the direction that the story took. I thought the writing was nice, and yeah, so this is something that gives me a glimpse of what Jason Mott writes, and I have not checked out his other work. I don't even know if he has written something else and what work that he does in terms of genre, in terms of writing, but I'm excited to find out. So yeah, I thought I liked this book. Overall, this book was enjoyable. And again, as I said, I will disclose my rating at the end of the video. Coming to Ankle Snatcher by Grady Hendrix, this was the most anticipated story of the entire collection for me. I love reading books by Grady Hendrix. I haven't read a lot, but I have read 2 of his novels. I read Satan Loves You, which I loved. I think you guys should definitely read it. It's super funny and it's just such a fresh concept and it's just extremely funny. And I read Final Girls Support Group, which I thought was okay. And I actually have read, unfortunately, half of Horror Store. I had to put it down because I was getting into, like, I was just not in the mood to read. I never picked it up, but I'm sure if I read it when I'm in a really good reading mood, it is going to be really, really entertaining. I do want to check out other work by Grady Hendrix, but I just saw the story and just sounded super funny. I mean, Ankle Snatcher. I think it was a very clever and funny title, so I just wanted to immediately read the story. So this is basically about this guy who's on a date with this girl, and the date is just going very average, nothing great. And then this girl says something tragic that has happened to her. Then the guy says something that has happened in his childhood, which just makes this entire date all the more interesting. Basically, he talks about this boogeyman or ankle snatcher that lives under the bed, and if you don't switch on the light, he's going to just snatch you away. So every time you have to get down from the bed, or every time he gets down from the bed, he ensures that all the lights are switched on so that the ankle snatcher cannot snatch him away. And then later that night, they go back to his apartment, and the story goes from there. So it was a very interesting setup. I love when the setup involves a date or just two people meeting for the first time and things just escalate from there. I think love such premises. And I enjoyed the story. I did not love it. Like, I did not think it was super, like, just mind blowing. It is a short story, but I think how it ended or which direction it took, I really really enjoyed it. And it just reminds me how much I enjoy Grady Hendrix writing stories, anything that he has to say. So I think it's super funny and it's just super entertaining. So it's much later in the day. I've had my lunch and I've also finished reading one story as well as half of another one. So I finished reading In Bloom by Paul Tremblay. It's also a very short one. I think it's around 32 pages. It's about this journalist who's going to interview this person who used to live in the area that she's currently living in. And basically this interview is going to be about how the algal bloom is very harmful and, just their harmful effects and all. And then the story, of course, escalates from there. So since it is a creature feature, there is a creature, and I did not enjoy the story, neither I enjoyed the creature. I thought that we did not get to explore the creature much, and I did not find there was much tension in the story. And I feel like it was more like a dream sequence sort of, the way it was written. And Paul Tremblay usually writes like that. I've read his other work, which is A Head Full of Ghosts, and I really really enjoyed that. But I was not a big fan of this story. Well, being scared or a fear is a very different factor, but I'm so sorry. I know the lighting is changing. I'm just standing in front of the window to shoot this. So the lighting keeps changing, and I know there's like a glare, I think, in my glasses. So I'm really sorry for that. But I just wanted to film this in the natural light. And also, it's so cold in here. Oh my god. Like, you can see I'm like literally had to put on a hoodie, and I absolutely hate wearing like woolens. I absolutely hate wearing sweaters and hoodies and stuff, but it's just so freaking cold. Overall, I was not a big fan of this story. I think I did not connect with the main character, and neither the guy with whom we were interviewing. I think I liked the story, but I was just not invested enough for me to like want to continue reading it. So I hope that the story that I'm currently reading, which is It Waits in the Wood by Josh Malaman, to be really good, because I need to read a good story. So yeah, I really hope it's a good story. I hope I'm a little, like, I don't know, at least if not scared, I'm a little tensed, a little anxious, because that's all I want from my horror books. I'll update you soon once I'm done with that story. So I just got back from the library, and I also picked out some of the groceries on the way. So I'm just going to do a quick grocery haul and then going to show you the books that I picked out from the library, and then we'll get back to reading. So this is all that I got from the grocery store. So we have bagel here, potato farls. The grocery shopping won't be complete without the Magnum ice cream. We also got these like donuts, and there's like this brownie. So just let me show you. Yeah, so this is like sort of dessert. Also have these like curly fries kind of thing. We've got potatoes. Oh, we also got these avocados, and believe it or not, I've never had like avocados ever, so I'm excited to actually try this out tomorrow. Got some biscuits. So we have cream crackers and these chocolate filled digestives. Okay, and finally, which I'm very excited about, which is this pancakes. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I'm gonna make pancakes tomorrow. Actually, there's also like sausages, and there's like chicken and bacon. So we have all that already stuffed in the fridge. So we'll be making an English breakfast tomorrow. And yeah, okay, I will show you guys the books that I got from library now. So that was all the groceries that I've gotten. Now I'm gonna show you guys the books that I got from library. And I don't usually borrow more than like 3 books at a time because they have like a time limit of like 3 weeks. And of course, I can renew my books, but I would like to finish those books in 3 weeks and then just get more books. So the first book that I borrowed is Over My Dead Body by Maz Evans. So this is actually like a comedy book. It's about this girl. Um, okay, I don't know why. I don't know her name. Dr. Miriam Price. Okay, Miriam Price. So she's basically dead, and she wants the police to find her killer, but she can't really communicate with anyone from the living, only her neighbor. So I think she's gonna take her neighbor's help and try to find out who killed her. It sounds really interesting, and I've never read anything by this author, so I'm excited to read. I don't know if I'm gonna do any reading vlog, including any of these books that I'm showing you, because I do have a lot of other books that I want to read that I want to like vlog, but we'll see. So that the final book that I borrowed from library for the next 3 weeks is He Started It by Samantha Downing. And very frankly, I haven't heard great things about this book. I've heard like mixed reviews, but I don't usually go with reviews. I like to read them and form my own opinions. So this book is about 3 siblings, and they have inherited this vast amount of wealth from their grandfather who passed away recently. But in order to actually claim that wealth, they have to take a road trip. So once they start going on this road trip, they feel that they are being followed, as well as there's a lot of secrets, and then truth starts coming in front, and there's a lot of things going on. So I'm excited to read and see what exactly happens. So those were all the books that I got from library. Now let's get back to reading. So I could not update you guys yesterday, but I did finish reading 2 of the stories. So the fourth story that I finished is It Waits in the Wood by Josh Malerman. This story is about Brenda, whose sister got lost a few years ago in the woods. And, like her family is all into despair and they kind of blame Brenda for it. And so Brenda decides to like go into this forest and check out what exactly happened, and if she can find something. And there's also other people disappearing, like whoever walks through these woods also disappears. And of course, because it is a creature feature collection, there is a creature in the story. There's also an angle of filmmaking because Brenda and her sister Amanda, they used to like make films. Brenda was the director, Amanda used to act in these films. And so I thought that was very interesting. And even the whole legend of this creature was also very interesting, but I don't think it fleshed out well. I really think that Josh Malerman could have benefited if this was like a novel, because then we would have gotten to explore more of these creatures and what are the powers, what does it do, and also why are these disappearances happening. I mean, there is an explanation given, but I feel like it is not really well fleshed out. And as I said that, I want to be connected to the characters, whether it's 10 pages, whether it's just 2 pages, 20 pages, and this was like almost 50 pages. So I think we had quite some time to get connected to the characters, but personally, I was not invested. So yeah, I did not enjoy this story much, and I think so far this have been my least favorite one. The next story that I read is The Pram by Joe Hill, and I actually really enjoyed this story. It's about this couple who's driving out to this farmhouse. They also have a real estate agent, and basically they're moving. I don't remember from which place, but they're moving to Maine, and there has been a tragedy that involves the loss of a child. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. This actually gets very interesting, and as the name suggests, the pram, where the story is headed. But I was still very invested. This is also around 50 pages long. And I was told from the husband's perspective, and I actually, had sympathized with the husband. I was very interested in knowing where this story was going. I do feel like, you can predict the story. Like, I feel like you don't even have to read, just from the title itself, where exactly this is gonna go. And this reminded me a lot of the short story. It's called Blanky by Keelan Patrick Burke. I felt it was very similar to that. I am inclined towards The Pram more if I have to compare both the stories. I flew through it. It was 50 pages, but there was not a lot of action happening. There was a lot more like ambience and environment and just the tension, but I think it worked for this particular short story. So I am remaining with just one story from this collection, which is called The Big Bad by Chandler Baker. I'm excited to read this, and I will see you guys soon with my final review on The Big Bad, as well as my final ranking of all these 6 stories. Okay, hi everyone. So, for after a long freaking time, there is sun, and so we have come out for a walk, and I don't know, I was freezing the entire day in the room. I wouldn't even know the sun is out until Mena told me. So yeah, let's take a nice walk and then we shall get back to reading. reading update. I have finally finished reading the final story in the Creature Feature collection, which was Big Bad by Chandler Baker. And I'm so happy to say that I really, really enjoyed this story. And on very unpopular opinion, because most of the people who have read this collection, for them, Big Bad is their least favorite one. I think for me, it was probably one of the most enjoyable ones, if not the most enjoyable one. But I really, really liked it. As the name suggests, and if you see the cover, I think you kind of get an idea what this is about. But it is about this family. There are these two kids, the mother and the father, and the kids are like, I really hope my dad doesn't hurt my mom. And I will just leave it at that. I mean, because these are really short stories, you have to just go into them completely blind. And I think you can see where the story is going, you can predict the ending. But I thought it was still super fun and I really enjoyed it. I liked the characters. I was just 50 pages, but surprisingly, I connected to all the characters, including the kids. And I like when, you don't know if there is sort of this ominous feelings about children in books. Like, you don't know if this is like, going to head south or if this is normal child behavior. I don't know. I find it very, very fun. And that's what the author did. I am really excited to check out other books by Chandler Baker, and I really, really hope I like those as well. So, coming to my final ratings and my ranking. So, we'll go from my least favorite to my most favorite one. My least favorite one, unfortunately, was It Waits in the Wood by Josh Malaman. I am not a very harsh critique of books, but I think I will have to give this like a 2.75. I did not enjoy this much and I kind of got bored in between. It took me, honestly, like a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm from my side to actually finish it. And I think because I was reading it for this vlog is why I got through the story. So it stands at my least favorite position. So in my fifth position comes In Bloom by Paul Tremblay. And honestly, it was almost very close to It Waits in the Wood because I got a little bored with this story as well. The only reason this is a fifth position is because it was comparatively shorter, so it was not dragged a lot. But I think that, especially when it's creature feature, you have to make the creature very vivid or something that I am going to be a little terrified of. And I think for both these stories, I was not terrified. And honestly, In Bloom, I was not able to picture it properly, which I understand because even the description of the creature is a little vague and you're not very sure about, if it's real, if it's not real. But even then, I was just not very invested in the story. From fourth position onwards, I actually enjoyed the story. I did not think it was mind blowing, but I still enjoyed it. And at fourth, we have Best of Luck by Jason Mott. I think the concept of the story was really fresh, was really interesting, and even the creature made sense to me. But again, I just feel like I wish we had gotten a little more background. I think this story could have benefited if it was slightly longer. So that is why it is at fourth. My third position, we have The Pram by Joe Hill. I thought this was really fun. This was really, really fun. I had a little disappointment with the ending. I wish the ending was a little crazy and little escalated because it did span over 50 pages, so the escalation was possible. Maybe something like, something like by Eric LaRocca. Things have gotten worse since we last spoke, which I thought was very short, but it escalated to a crazy point. So I wish this story also escalated. At number two, we have Big Bad by Chandler Baker. As I said, I really, really enjoyed the story. I liked the characters. I liked where the story went. But it was just not mind-blowing, and that is why it's at number two. And my most favorite story of this entire collection is Ankle Snatcher by Grady Hendrix. I think Grady Hendrix just does, like a really, really fun horror story. I think everything that he writes, it's just super, super fun. And I love the title of the story. I love how it started and the place that it went. All of the stories were not crazy mind-blowing or they didn't have crazy twists, and that is the reason I couldn't give any of them 5-star. Actually, I was supposed to tell you the ratings along with my review, but I think I'll just put up the ratings as I'm talking about the books. So this was my favorite one out of the lot. Overall, I would give this entire collection, I think, a 3.5 to 3.75 on 5 stars. This is a very good starting point if you're looking to try out new horror authors. And especially if you're into creature feature, then I think you will enjoy this. And these are very short. Some of them are extremely short stories, like 25 to 30 pages. So I think you'll finish it fast. So that was the end of another reading vlog. I really hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. Next vlog is going to be so exciting because I'm going to start filming it right after this. Because I want to start this. We still have a little bit of Sunday left. So I'm actually going to begin with the next book. So I will actually film the intro right after this. But it's going to be super exciting. It's a science fiction book. So I hope you guys are excited. All of you who are into science fiction. I am just really glad to welcome you to, this science fiction journey with me. And yeah, if you liked this reading vlog, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new here. And please, please leave your comment down below which book you want to see me do a reading vlog on. I'm always open to new suggestions, and I read a wide variety of genres, so you can just suggest me any type of book that you want. Maybe steer away from the non-fiction. But yeah, I will see you soon. Bye.